fire had done its job. What was once a cabin buried deep in Georgia's Chattahoochee National Forest had been reduced to scorched timber and bone dust. But fire doesn't cleanse everything, and it doesn't erase what people try to hide. In May 2025, forensic teams returned to the site with new tech, ground-penetrating radar, chemical tracers, and fresh eyes. They weren't just looking for remnants of Celeste Moore. They were looking for something Hilton never talked about, and something that might suggest he wasn't alone. Because buried beneath a false floorboard, just inches from the camera that once belonged to Celeste, they found a second journal. And it wasn't Hilton's. The handwriting was looser, more frantic. The ink bled in places from water damage, possibly from the fire hoses used when locals reported smoke over a decade earlier. But even in its fragile state, the notebook was readable. The first page simply read, "I told him not to go that far." Investigators immediately knew they weren't dealing with another victim's notebook. This was someone on the inside, someone who knew Hilton, someone who may have been there. The entries were erratic, paranoid. Several passages stood out. He said she was too smart, not like the others. I told him it'd bring attention. She saw the van. I think she wrote down the plate. He freaked. Started packing. He made me burn the clothes. Said if I didn't, I'd be next. And then, the chilling line scrawled at the end of one torn page. He doesn't like when they fight. He says that ruins the story. A second killer? For years, Hilton was believed to have acted alone, a lone wolf predator. But now the journal suggested something much darker, an accomplice. Or at the very least, a silent observer who helped clean up. Enter Norman Green, the cabin's original owner. A drifter, a fringe survivalist, and, according to a witness back in 2006, the guy who always showed up when Hilton was around but never said a word. Green had no criminal record, no phone, no bank account. He'd lived off-grid since the late 90s, with only a handful of known addresses, including this cabin, which he sold months before Hilton was arrested in 2008. But now he was missing. His last known sighting was in Montana in 2010. And there was more. In the charred remains of the cabin's back room, investigators found a series of partially burned maps, forest trails, back roads, areas circled in red. Some were labeled in Hilton's handwriting. Others were not. And in the corner of the room, inside a scorched backpack, they recovered a driver's license melted into the fabric. It belonged to Matthew Bryson, a hiker who vanished in 2003 and was never connected to Hilton. Until now. Agent Lila Warren, leading Operation Red Trail, had seen killers try to fake partners before. They claim others were involved to throw us off the scent, she said. But this wasn't Hilton's style. Hilton had never once hinted at collaboration. In fact, he'd always claimed nobody else knew. But the journal's tone was too personal. It referenced emotions Hilton didn't express. Fear, hesitation, guilt. This wasn't just a cleanup accomplice. This was someone who knew what Hilton was doing and documented it. Possibly even someone who watched. Rachel Parker's memory returns. When shown the journal under careful supervision, Rachel Parker studied one entry for nearly a full minute. Her brow furrowed. He made me wait in the trees when he went to get her. Said I had to stay quiet this time. Rachel blinked hard. I remember hearing something, she said. Not him. Before he came out from the trees, I thought. I heard twigs snapping. I thought maybe it was an animal. But what if it wasn't? What if Hilton hadn't just let Rachel go? What if someone else was there, watching, and stopped him? The cabin's final secret. 2 weeks after the journal's discovery, forensic botanist Dr. Claire Lynn reported an anomaly. Inside the wood grain of a burnt ceiling beam, in a crack barely wide enough for a matchstick, she found a melted microcassette. No label, no casing, just the plastic guts of an old recorder, fused into charcoal. The team almost missed it, but after delicate extraction and digital restoration, the FBI confirmed. It contained audio, nearly 40 minutes of it. The sound quality was poor. Footsteps. Fire crackling. A woman's voice screaming in the distance. Then silence. And then Hilton's voice. You always ruin it. You watch and you watch, but you never help. A second voice responded, male, lower, unsteady. I didn't ask for this. You said it was just the van. You said we'd just take her stuff. Hilton snapped. There's no going back now. Then the tape cut. The audio was dated December 2005. That's 2 years before Cheryl Dunlap. 1 year before Rachel Parker. And it confirmed the horrifying truth. Hilton hadn't acted alone. At least not always. Who was the man in the tape? Investigators now believe the voice may belong to Norman Green, or someone connected to him. The journal, the tape, the fire damage, it all pointed to one conclusion. Hilton had once had a partner. And that partner may still be alive. Agent Warren released a new age-progressed sketch of Norman Green. Tips began pouring in. A trail of sightings, off-grid communities, cash-only gas stations, a man who talked to himself about forest rituals. But nothing solid. Haunting egg. The discovery of the journal and tape reopened 3 cold cases long believed to be unrelated. Bryson, a pair of lost hikers in 2002, and a woman named Alyssa Crane, who vanished on a spiritual retreat in 2001. All had been last seen near locations Hilton or Green were known to frequent. Hilton never confessed to them, but the way their remains, or belongings, had been found matched the language in the journal. One note in particular. He didn't cut her. Said she was whole. Said she had to stay that way for the woods. It was the same phrase Hilton had once used to describe his first known victim. Now, authorities feared there were more. Rachel had spent 17 years trying to forget the woods. But now, she returned, not as a victim, but as a consultant for a survivor advocacy group working with law enforcement. She visited the cabin site with Agent Warren in June 2025, wearing hiking boots and carrying a digital recorder. At one point, she stopped, staring at a burned tree stump near the creek bed. I think he tied someone here, she said. When asked how she knew, Rachel simply said, because I dreamed it for years. And now I'm standing in it. Operation Red Trail is now officially active in 5 states. The FBI believes at least 10 to 12 unsolved disappearances may be tied to Hilton or to someone who once moved in his orbit. Norman Green remains a person of interest. The cabin is now a federal crime scene. And the journal? It's being tested for DNA, fingerprints, and handwriting comparison, not against Hilton, but against an anonymous man arrested in Montana in 2011 for trespassing on protected parkland and later released. That man gave a fake name. But facial recognition? It now links him to an old hunting license issued in 1995. Issued to Norman Eli Green. The last entry in the mysterious journal reads, he said if I ever told, I'd end up in the trees. But the truth is worse. I still see her. Every night. She smiled at me when I brought the coffee. She thought I was there to help. The story of Gary Michael Hilton was supposed to be over. The court had ruled. The bodies were buried. The confessions were filmed and archived. But monsters don't just appear. They are shaped. Federal molded in the shadows. And in Hilton's case, someone had been watching the whole time. His name was Norman Green, and he had vanished long before the final body was ever found. In early June 2025, investigators finally tracked a rental payment made in 2011 under the alias E. Nolan. A dusty storage unit outside Helena, Montana. Inside, camping gear, survival manuals, animal traps, a rusted generator, and a military-issued duffel bag. Inside the duffel, a worn leather-bound journal. Next to it, a hand-drawn sketch of a woman sitting cross-legged near a campfire, long hair, a soft face, wide eyes staring into the flames. The note beneath read, she listens to the trees. I think he sees her in all of them. The date on the back of the paper, August 1999. It wasn't until later, when Rachel Parker saw the sketch, that everything changed. That's me, she whispered. That's what I looked like in high school. That's before. That sketch was made 7 years before Hilton ever approached Rachel in the forest. Years before Cheryl Dunlap. Before Meredith Emerson. Before any of the known victims. Which raised a terrifying question. Was Gary Hilton the hunter, or the weapon? The early years of Norman Green. Born in 1954, Norman Eli Green grew up in rural Mississippi, the son of a preacher and a nurse. His father died under suspicious circumstances in 1967, found in a flooded ravine after a hunting accident with no weapon recovered. The case was never solved. Norman disappeared from public records for nearly a decade, re-emerging in the late 1970s in a small Idaho town under a new name, Nolan. He worked odd jobs, lived off-grid, traveled state to state, and always near national forests. His journals from the Montana storage unit revealed something else: meticulous entries about people he encountered, people he followed, and more disturbingly, people he believed were chosen. I see them in the trees before he does. That's the rule. I see. He touches. I watch the story end. A pattern older than Hilton. Green's journals reference 7 different individuals, dating from 1995 to 2005, all of whom disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Julia Kent, 1996, disappeared while birdwatching in Alabama's Conecuh Forest. Harold Sims, 1997, vanished during a solo canoe trip in Georgia. Amy Becker, 1999, last seen hiking with a camera near Pisgah National Forest. 3 unnamed entries marked only by location and time: Tennessee 01, Blue Ridge 03, Ocala 04. R. Seen near campsite, sketch included, didn't approach. Too much light. Hilton's name is first mentioned in 2003 in an entry titled, Found the One. We'll teach him the story. In other words, Hilton may not have been the beginning. He may have been recruited. The most chilling detail came when forensics compared the 1999 sketch from Green's bag to Rachel's old high school yearbook photos. The match was conclusive. It wasn't just a similar girl. It was her. Meaning Green had seen her long before Hilton ever acted. Long before she ever crossed Hilton's path in the woods. And yet, she was still alive. Because Green had written one more note beside the drawing. She isn't for him. She's for me. Rachel was never Hilton's target. She was Norman's. Agent Lila Warren laid it out at an internal briefing. Hilton was the face we saw, the hand that moved. But Green was the architect, the mythmaker, the eye in the trees. She called it the second face theory, a dual predator model where one killer enables, empowers, or manipulates the other. In Green's case, the evidence now suggested he was the one who taught Hilton the rituals, the disposal techniques, the trophy keeping, the staging. Hilton may have had the rage, but Green had the structure, and he may still be out there. In late June 2025, Agent Warren and forensic tracker Nate Delaney returned to the cabin site in Georgia. This time, they went deeper, beyond the fire ring, beyond the perimeter. Nearly a mile east, buried beneath pine needles and moss, they discovered an unregistered survival cache. Inside, vacuum-sealed meat rations, a Colt .45, 3 burner phones, a map with recent ink marks, including one near Helena, Montana. And one more thing, a voice recorder. The audio crackled. Then Green's voice. He was always sloppy. That's what made him useful. No one looks for the careful ones. He chuckled. I see them coming before they do. Some pray, some beg, but it's never about the end. It's the waiting, the silence before it breaks. She was supposed to be last, but I never was good at endings. There was no date, but one thing was clear: Green was alive. And he was planning something.